Okay, there's something else going on here. And to understand this, and to understand some things we're about to read, you have to understand that St. John, now, when he's describing the crucifixion, starts to just pepper in all this language from the Greek translation of Genesis. Specifically, the Greek translation of Genesis 1, 2, and 3. Okay, he goes back to creation, the creation of man, and starts peppering in this language. One of the things that people notice and think is odd or even disturbing, like a lot of Orthodox folks are disturbed by this because of how it sounds in English. Early on, and even up to here, right, in this very passage we just read, in St. John's Gospel, Christ frequently refers to the Theotokos, his mother, as woman.
Yeah, which sounds weird in English.
It sounds disrespectful.
Yeah.
Right? Like if my mother asked me to do something and I said, woman, right? Like that would not be respectful, right?
Yeah. And people think English. He's being disrespectful to her, which is nuts.
Yeah. Not the case, right? Christ kept the commandment to honor his father and mother, okay? Right? Like that should be non-controversial. So that's how it's going. But he keeps referring to her as a woman. And even here, right, the first thing he says is, woman, behold your son. Right? Then he says to the disciple, behold your mother. If you pay close attention in Genesis chapters 2 and 3, Eve was not originally named Eve.
Yeah, she was first called woman, Isha.
Yes,
I think
Isha.
In Hebrew.
Just the word for woman. So her name is woman. After the expulsion from paradise, when she gives birth for the first time and has a son, right, her name is changed to Eve, to Eva, which means mother, because she is, as she says, the mother of all living. Okay. So her name is changed at this crucial moment of the expulsion from paradise from woman to mother. Here, St. John, at the cross, at the beginning of the new creation, right, of the redemption, the Theotokos, who, unlike the apostles, the disciples who ran off, right, unlike St. Peter who betrayed him, the Theotokos has remained faithful to Christ, to the very end.
Yeah.
Right? Right here to the cross. And Christ, who has been referring to her as woman to this point, now calls her mother, changes her name from woman to mother. Using St. John as an example of one of her children. Because she, like Eve, is now the mother of all living. Not living in the sense of biological life, right? The biological ancestor of all humans, right? But what does St. John say life is? Right? Christ says in St. John's Gospel, just a couple chapters before this, this is life, to know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you've sent.
Yeah.
So all those who have come to know the true God through Jesus Christ, whom he sent, are now Mary's children. She is now their mother. She is the mother of all the faithful in this spiritual sense. Okay, that's what's going on here. Referring back to Genesis. That's what St. John is doing in the text. And that's the way the immediate disciples of St. John, like St. Irenaeus, that's how they interpret it. Which is further evidence.